It's official. The LA Thieves have signed Kenny as well as Abezy to the 2026 squad. I just wanted to come on and talk about it real quick because I am personally super excited for this team. Now, I've said it before. I did like the roster that the Thieves had last year. I love Dan and I love Dill, but I think bringing in these two new players in Kenny and Abezy is going to be very interesting to see. Now, this is definitely not a bad team by any means. I don't want to necessarily say that it's an upgrade or a downgrade to the other players because, like I said, I have a lot of respect for those guys as well. But I'm very excited for this team. There's a lot of talent on this squad, and I think obviously with Kenny coming back to the Thieves, I mean, I felt like he should have never left the team. I loved getting to watch him. I felt like he was kind of like the franchise guy outside of Octane. And obviously, once after that Vanguard season or the Modern Warfare 2 season was over, things just kind of changed and the players went their own routes. So having him back is really, really cool. And I think he's a guy that knows how to win. I think Kenny has been a huge part of every roster he's ever been on. I mean, even when you look at him on the Cold War Thieves team, he was the only consistent player throughout the entire season. And yes, it was a brutal year. It was tough, but he was the guy the whole time. Um, then obviously going into Vanguard, I think once he kind of turned around and they got their kind of roles figured out, the team definitely meshed so much better and they ended up going on to win champs. When he was on the Optic team and they ended up winning champs, I felt like he kind of, I don't want to say necessarily turned the entire atmosphere around, but I mean, Optic was kind of in a drought for a long time and he came in and was able to help them win a championship the very first year. So I have a ton of respect for Ken. I'm super excited to have him back on the team. And now we get to have Abezy alongside of Hydra as the sub duo. And this is going to be a fast paced sub duo because both of these guys, as I said, they just play at a fast pace. Like I feel like really the entire team is going to be moving at a speed that we're not used to seeing. But having two subs that can play that quickly and are as good at it as they are, I think is really, really exciting to see. I'm going to be interested to see kind of how Paco and Abezy play off of one another because I do feel like in some regard they play a pretty similar style, but I think Abezy does a really good job of, kind of just taking on gunfights, taking on engagements. And I think Paco does that well too, but I think where the duo is going to mesh really well is that you can kind of have Paco be like the second guy in, and I feel like Abezy will probably get one and then deal damage to at least one or two more before Paco can come in and kind of like wipe out the rest. And I think they're just going to have a really good synergy together. So I'm really excited for that. Obviously, Abezy knows how to win as well, right? He has two rings himself, so there's definitely not a shortage of talent and guys who just know what it takes to win. Obviously, I felt like in the last season we had multiple guys who I felt like knew how to win as well, but Kenny and Abezy, again, having two rings and having done it on technically two different teams. I mean, I know for Abezy it was a pretty similar roster, but E United and the FaZe team was definitely different. So being able to win with multiple teams, multiple rosters, different years, like just there's so much talent. These guys know what they're doing. Kenny mentioned it today on his stream as well that he is excited to play with a team that is very opinionated, and I think that will be a good thing because it shows that this team cares. They like no matter what happens throughout the season, I feel like you kind of know that every single one of these guys cares. Like the way Scrap talked about it in some of his interviews this past season, you can tell that the individual accolades really did not matter to him. Like obviously they do. I'm sure it's great to get MVP. I'm sure it's great to win these individual awards, but at the end of the day, he still doesn't have a ring, and I know he wants a ring. He's like, I don't want to say desperate for a ring, but like he's pushing for that. And having multiple guys on your team, Hydra has won a ring. You have Kenny who's won two, and you have Abezy who's won two now. Like, I think this is a perfect opportunity for him to, I don't want to say like take the back seat, but to be able to like listen to a lot of these guys who know how to win at the highest level and have done it multiple times, even with Hydra a little bit. Yes, he's won, but both of these guys are really young in comparison to, I would say, like the time that Kenny and Abezy have been playing competitive Call of Duty, right? Like this team is not an old team by any means, but like if we're looking in the the perspective of Call of Duty, right? Like Kenny has been around for a while, Abezy's been around for a while, whereas Hydra and Scrap are both like pretty young in the grand scheme of things, and they have done a lot of winning themselves. So I think adding in two guys of the caliber of Kenny and Abezy to pair along with the talent of Scrap and Hydra, there's just going to be so much opportunity for this team. And obviously, I don't want to like jump ahead of anything because obviously we had very high hopes going into the last season, and we expected this Thieves team to win a ton. And they did win two big tournaments, and they won the minor tournament as well. But the end of the year was obviously not what we were hoping for. So I want to see a little bit more before I really like jump on the train of like this team is a super team. This team is going to dominate the whole year. Do I think they have the ability to do that? Yes, I do. And I think looking at some of the roster changes going into this season, I think that does play a little more in favor for the Thieves. Now, I know this is all about the Thieves and their team, but looking at like the phase roster, I think a lot of people are kind of undermining them. They don't think they're going to be as good as they they're hoping in a sense. And I do think because of Abezy and Simp splitting up and then Cell going to the Falcons, I do think that changes the team, and I think it's very hard to fill those shoes. But with Abuza and O4 coming into the team, I think that they're going to be better than people think. So I don't think we can just jump on board saying that this Thieves team is going to dominate the entire year, because I think FaZe is going to be sort of like, I don't want to say an underdog, but I think they're going to be like I think they're going to be a really good team that people are not giving them enough credit for. And then obviously you have Optic, who finished the season looking fantastic, and they're just kind of getting started. I do think that Optic will probably drop off a little bit because now more teams have been able to see how these guys play alongside one another. But like I said, I don't want to jump to conclusions saying that, oh my God, this Thieves team is going to win all year. They're going to win every event. I know that's what the team wants, and I know that's what the fans want, but it's just kind of unrealistic. So like I said before, I'm really excited to see how the season goes, and I do have high hopes. I think this team should win a lot. I think they have the ability to win a lot, but I don't want to get too ahead of myself by saying that. I just wanted to come on and talk about the players and how I think this season could go in a sense, because I really do think that Kenny and Abezy are a very valuable pickup for both of them, and I'm excited to see how the AR duo goes, and I'm excited to see how the sub duo goes. Obviously, how they all mesh together is also what I'm looking forward to, because like I said, there's just so much talent on the team. There's so much talent on paper, and I think Kenny is a really good gel guy. I know a lot of people have their opinions on Kenny, and I've kind of voiced my opinions, but I just think this team has a lot of potential, and you know, they could go anywhere. They could really go anywhere. So welcome back, Kenny. Love to have you back. I mean, like I said, I felt like he shouldn't have gone in the first place, but things just went down the way they went down. It was really unfortunate. And then welcome Abezy. I'm excited to see how he looks in a red that is not phase red. It's kind of weird to see him anywhere other than phase. Just like I felt like it was weird to see Kenny anywhere other than the Thieves. So I'm I've said it 1,000 times already. I'm just so excited. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm excited for this season, and I'm hoping for the best. But I appreciate you all for tuning into the video. And as I said, welcome Kenny, welcome Abezy. Let's get some wins this year, baby. Come on. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.